Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
Don't you understand, George? It's because you were not born.
Film Church.
Well, a boy's best friend is his mother.
Dead or alive, you're coming with me.
Hello, and welcome to Film Church Radio. This is the podcast that treats cinema as a religion. It's Sunday. I'm Lewis.
And I'm Robo Brandon.
We are here to talk about movies. Each week, Robo Brandon and I alternate picking a film for us both to watch and discuss. This week, I picked RoboCop from 1987, directed by Paul Verhoeven. After watching Last Action Hero last week, I didn't feel like I was ready to leave the over-the-top thrill ride action genre just yet. And this is a film that we have kind of toyed with a lot. I feel like in the past, it's come up when we've been, thinking of films that we're going to pick. So I decided that this was the time to do it before we reach episode 100, which is in 7 episodes, by the way. But we would like to thank everyone that has been listening for the past 93 episodes, including this one. We really appreciate it. All those episodes are streaming on all good podcast platforms, so you can go back and listen and have a look and see if we talked about any of your favourite films. If we did, give it a listen and let us know if you agree with what we said. We've talked about a lot. 93 films now, plus a few extras. So there's a lot there to choose from, and a pretty eclectic range. So check them out. If you haven't seen them before, we recommend you watching them all as well. There's nothing like watching great cinema. You can find us on all social media platforms as well at Film Church Radio if you want to let us know what you think. And we'd love to hear from you. Spotify would really help if you want to listen on there, but anywhere's good. Don't just get Spotify for us. You can listen anywhere. Before we discuss the film, RoboCop, what we do is we talk about other films we've been watching and we call it our hymns section. So we sing the praises of other films. I like it. So Brandon, what have you been watching, my friend, other than RoboCop?
Couple of things. I rewatched Barbie.
Yeah.
And then immediately tried to see if there was going to be a good physical copy release coming out. Mm-hmm. And there's just like a regular one, but nothing special.
Yeah.
So I might not buy it yet. I don't know. Because it'll probably be on, it's Warner Brothers. It'll probably be on Max, right? I
would assume so. And I think that, if it seems to be going a similar way to James Cameron's Avatar, just in that it's in cinemas doing really well. They're going to put it onto streaming or release, a basic Blu-ray. But I have read that they're going to be re-releasing it in IMAX screens with a behind-the-scenes clip at the end or something, like some extra special thing. And then I assume after that, probably for Christmas, there'll be like a bells and whistles super special edition.
Yeah.
Sing-along version or something.
Yeah.
Just to milk this cash cow as much as possible.
Yeah, because, I haven't experienced this yet, but apparently there's just people going to see it just to post that they went to see it. So that might continue to happen. I was just reading on Reddit a story of a couple who went to see it, and the people next to them were just taking pictures of the screen and talking the whole time.
Ugh, gross.
And it's why are you going to see a movie?
Yeah.
That's what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
It's so annoying.
Yeah. It's like I think it's just that whole culture of live reactions now. There was a whole thing. Was it for The Flash or was it for something a bit earlier than that? I think it was a DC film. But this guy had someone recording him watching the movie.
Yeah.
And he was screaming and shouting at the screen and stuff. And I was like, this is disgusting.
Yeah.
Please stop this trend.
Have you heard about there was a viral TikTok of at the end of Spider-Verse 2, the one that just came out a few months ago.
Yeah.
That is, remained in cinemas, been one of the biggest movies this summer.
Yeah.
someone made a TikTok where at the end of the movie, when Miles is like revealing to his mother from another spoilers,
Yeah.
his mother from another dimension, that he's Spider-Man. He's like, I have something to tell you. I'm Spider-Man. And then there's like, there's a quiet moment
Yeah.
at that point, and somebody in the audience is like, he's black? But now, apparently, people are doing that.
Oh,
like,
yeah, in like pauses.
Yeah, in the movie, because that TikTok became so, viral.
Yeah.
Because like my little brother went and saw it, the movie again, and somebody like screamed that in the theater. It's just like, oh my God.
I know. Gross.
No.
Yeah.
Stop. Only watch movies at Alamo Draft House.
Yes, please. You'd get kicked out for that.
Do they have Alamo Draft Houses over there?
No. The cinema the choice of cinema chains around me is pretty minimal. I mean, I was telling my dad today, because we've got like, so there's two big, not to go into too much, there's two big like chains. There's Odeon and then there's Cineworld, which is similar to Cinemark.
Okay.
And we've got an Odeon near us, and me and Chelsea signed up for the like unlimited pack, so you can go as many times as you want. Like in a month, you pay a fixed price or whatever. But they only show very mainstream films. Apart from the odd Tuesday night where they may have like a classic coming back.
Yeah.
And then the other one, Cineworld, is a little bit more expansive, but it's not like it's just, it's kind of foreign language films and then like new releases that stick around a bit longer. And we have got like some independent stuff, but they're so far away. It's 50 minutes drive away.
Wow.
So like tonight, for example, like Tokyo Story is being re-released in England as part of like an Ozu season, and they're showing it like an hour away, and I'm like, I really want to go, but it's on at like 8:10, and I was like, I don't think I can figure that out.
Yeah.
So yeah, the choice isn't great. I miss Alamo. Alamo is probably the one thing I miss the most.
Yeah.
It's like a really good cinema chain.
Before all the people, before all the...
Yeah, like, Alamo is that important to me.
So I'm guessing there's no... none of those cinemas, like, enforce... I mean, I guess some people enforce... Yeah. I guess some regular cinemas, they'll sometimes tell people to be quiet if you complain, but it's not like Alamo where you can just write it on a piece of paper and then...
Yeah. I did have a good experience with Barbie, though. There was... So we went pretty soon after it was out, and it was like a full auditorium. And there was a guy that was like 4 or 5 rows from the back, and I think he was with his kids and his wife, so like all together. And like halfway through, he just got his phone out and was just like scrolling. But the brightness was up. And I was like, that's a bit annoying. I was about to say something, and the woman, like 3 rows back, just shouted, "Can you turn your brightness down?" And he like put his phone away, and that was like the end of it. But I was like, nobody came in. He was on it for a good 5 minutes before anyone said anything. So,
UK unite.
I know. I always feel like it's just adding a second disturbance there if you shout something.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because for the whole 5 minutes, you're thinking, should I get up?
I know, yeah. Should
I go do something?
Yeah. But
instead of like watching the movie.
Yeah. But
and then somebody finally gets up and says something, and you're like, thank God. I'm really glad they did that.
I know, yeah.
It just takes up too much brain space
when
you're supposed to be watching a movie.
Plus, I spent the last 8 years in Texas, and you never know who's armed in Texas. So I think I'm still in that mindset of like, is this going to turn into an argument? I don't want to be a part of that.
Oh, I guess was that so? You watched Barbie?
It was in England,
in Texas.
It was in England, but like just still in that, because there's horror. I mean, there's people that we used to live nearby that said that they honked the horn because someone cut them off, and then they pulled over and was waving a firearm at them and stuff like that. So
yeah,
we tended not to be. Provocative to other people.
Yeah. Probably a good choice, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, Barbie's good. If you want to know what I think about it, go back and listen to our Francis Ha episode. And then I rewatched Slacker.
Nice.
I watched it with my my sister and my brother-in-law, who lived in Austin for a while, and had never seen it. So I was like, "You guys gotta watch Slacker."
Yeah.
Because it's all about Austin.
Yeah. Did you
Plus,
see places that you recognized?
I mean, not really.
Yeah.
It's so different now, I think. There might be a couple of, I mean, you could probably figure out what is where. But there's not necessarily any significant landmarks. I mean, you can see the Capitol, I think, at one point in the background.
Yeah.
Like the building. But other than that, it's hard to kind of, because it was 1990 when that came out, so like it looks different, you know.
Yeah.
The vibe might still be the same.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
it's a cool movie. You haven't seen it, right?
I haven't.
So
I own it, but
oh yeah, on Criterion.
yeah.
Yeah, I won't be too spoilery, but it's kind of like vignettes.
Yeah.
Around the city.
Nice.
The camera, like the camera will follow one person for a while, and then they'll run into somebody, and then it'll follow that person and
Cool.
not go with the
Yeah.
first person. But the opening is, I really like the opening a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, for one thing, it's shot on 16 millimeter, so the look of it is nostalgic right away.
Yeah.
It feels classic right away. And the whole opening monologue is Richard Linklater himself playing the character. And it's just such a great, I know it's not his first movie, but if you're gonna get into Linklater, I think it's a great start to his filmography.
Yeah.
And him as a filmmaker. I had rewatched it because I was listening to an interview with him recently, and he was talking about how, I mean, that was the movie that kind of just set his career on fire. And yeah, he was just like, it kind of was just luck in a lot of ways with like the timing of the culture change.
Yeah.
Because he said he went, they were showing the film at different film festivals. He went to one up in, I think it was like Seattle. It was like one of the Northwest cities, and he was like that they were pulling up to where they were screening the movie, and there was just like a huge line of young people that looked just like the people that were in his movie.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, something's going on here."
Yeah.
And it was like right at the time that like Nirvana was becoming popular, and so he thinks it's just like it all just like happened. It just went along with the way that the culture was changing at the time, which I think helped.
But that's the sign of a great filmmaker, isn't it? To have like your finger on the pulse and be like,
yeah,
okay,
exactly.
This is the change in time. I want to make a movie about this.
Yeah.
So, I'm excited for his new film.
What's his new film?
I think it's premiering at the London Film Festival. Is it about a hitman? Let me have a look. I've added it to my watch list. Let me just pull it up. I forgot what the title is. I think it's called Hitman. A cop working undercover as the most in-demand hitman in Houston breaks protocol in order to help a desperate woman escape her abusive boyfriend.
Oh, so it takes place in Houston.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
His most recent film also was all about Houston.
Yeah.
I think I moved to Houston at just the right time.
Yeah. Starring Glenn Powell, who was in Top Gun Maverick as like one of the new batch.
Yeah.
Who was also in Apollo 10 and a half, by the looks of it. So, and Everybody Wants Some. So he's worked with Linklater before.
Nice.
Well, this is cool. Yeah. So, I mean, he's a very exciting filmmaker to me. And I know we've talked about him a lot on the pod, but yeah, I'm excited for anything he does.
Yeah, man. You got to watch Slacker.
I know. Yeah. Got to tick them all off.
Yeah. Quit slacking off. So what have you been watching?
Yeah, so I watched Walk the Line from 2005, the Johnny Cash biopic with Joaquin Phoenix and Reese Witherspoon.
Joaquin the Line?
Yeah. When it came out, I feel like it was like really highly regarded. And it's a film that I can remember watching when I was younger, and I haven't watched it since. So I was like, okay, I'll go back and watch it again. I think the problem with these kind of films, especially biopics, is that when you've had something that's as inventive and fun as Elton John's Rocket Man, or Rocket Man about Elton John, which that I absolutely love, it just feels a bit boring.
Yeah.
Because this was like, okay, he's born, he's a kid, he's growing up, this happens, this happens. It's just a bit like, okay. It just gets a little bit stale.
Yeah.
Bit paint by numbers. I mean, the performances are amazing. They sing their own songs, which is really fun to watch. And I gave it like 3.5 out of 5. It was fun. I had a good time. I don't think I'll be going back to see it soon.
Yeah.
But I quite like early Joaquin Phoenix. So
yeah,
it's nice to see him.
I've actually never seen it.
Yeah.
But I guess he was nominated, right? He didn't win.
I don't think so. Yeah.
Because he didn't win until Joker.
Yeah. And then directed by James Mangold, who just recently did Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
That's right, yeah.
Logan and stuff. So, he seems to, he's got a good back catalogue. And like I said, it's perfectly fine. It's an enjoyable movie. It's just a bit flat.
Yeah. Well, Elvis, I think, did a good job, too, of making it, like...
more like the person.
Yeah. Yeah. Or just something that's not your just regular biopic,
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the way you've kind of got to go now, because it's just we're inundated, especially with Bohemian Rhapsody doing well. That was such a paint by numbers thing.
Yeah.
And, so that's hopefully more artistic expression is what we're saying. And then I had the chance, I mean, I know I was kind of talking bad about our local cinema chains, but they did show 2001: A Space Odyssey. So I had the chance to go and see that on the big screen after our Kubrick season, which we both, 2001 is a phenomenal film. And I was gutted that I'd never seen it on the big screen. So had to go and see that, which I did. Oh boy, it's so good. Yeah. It's so good. I honestly think that the most chilling shot that Kubrick's ever filmed is Hal watching them talk through like the bay doors.
Oh right,
when you can see their mouths moving but not hear them. Because after that, it like immediately goes to an intermission, and you're just like, oh god, what is going to happen now? If you haven't seen it, obviously.
So the intermission was in there.
Yes, they included the intermission, which was nice. They included the kind of the opening at the beginning, the score and everything.
Yeah.
It was a good time. It wasn't on film, unfortunately. It was digital.
Yeah.
But I think it was the new restoration or the latest restoration because the sound was excellent.
Nice.
So it was really quiet most of the time.
Did you go with anybody?
No, just sat on my own.
Nice.
And just kind of enjoyed let it wash over you. Yeah. Enjoyed it. And I went and bought the book as well. So I'm going to start reading the book because I know that when we talked about it, it improves the film from what I've read from other people. So yeah, it's great. And it's 5 out of 5, obviously.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it was the top Kubrick film on our list, right? When we watched all of them.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, the fact that I'm still watching it, like, how did they do this?
Yeah, and it still holds up and looks amazing. And
it's mad.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, and I'm glad that I did, because I think it may come into our conversation in a minute about RoboCop.
Okay.
So we'll probably come back to 2001, hopefully, in a little bit. But now it is time to move on to our feature presentation. RoboCop from 1987. The letterbox summary is part man, part machine, all cop, the future of law enforcement. In a dystopic and crime-ridden Detroit, a terminally wounded cop returns to the force as a powerful cyborg hunted by submerged memories. Bum bum bum. I had seen this before. You had not.
No.
But you had wanted to see it, am I correct?
Yeah, I think I can't remember when. I feel like maybe Zach mentioned it at one point, and had talked about how violent it was.
Yeah.
Which seemed surprising to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had put it on my list, I guess, within the last year or so. And yeah, this movie is it's hard to describe, honestly. It's like it's so weird.
I know.
It feels so bizarre and like almost like not even a real movie.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like it's a fever dream or something. Like, I think partially because it's, from the late 80s, all the effects and stuff feel similar to effects that I've seen. It seems like it would be just kind of your, like you were saying, a paint by numbers storytelling.
Yeah.
It's basically a superhero movie.
Mm-hmm.
But somehow it really doesn't do anything you kind of expect it to do. I mean, it does still have like your typical scenes, like, but it also doesn't do the things you expect it to do, like him actually finding his family again, or like, I don't know. It just, it was great. It was a fun ride.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it. I really found myself, I mean, I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
From one scene to the next, I didn't know where it was going or what was going to happen. Yeah, it just sets such a place in time when you're watching it, because there's like the stop motion robots, there's like, but and all the effects look really good, and then it's just super violent. It just feels so weird. It's like, I don't know who the movie is for exactly, but I'm enjoying it,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think you're hitting on something there in terms of we don't get movies like this anymore.
Yeah.
Because it's a blockbuster. It's like a kind of a higher budget, aiming at, everyone kind of thing. But it's not for kids at all.
Yeah.
And I think
it's almost like, sorry to interrupt you, but
No.
it's almost like somebody doing like a B horror action movie got a bunch of money to do a bigger budget version.
Yeah. It just feels like, exactly, just very adult, which you miss, because RoboCop appeals to like everybody. I remember like the poster of him like standing with one foot in the car. Again, I feel like I've seen that all my life.
Yeah.
And it's just so ingrained in my head. Like everyone, I can imagine kids wanting to see this movie.
Oh, yeah.
And then you go and see it and it's just, blood everywhere.
Yeah.
And mutants and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
That was just out of nowhere.
I know, yeah. It always
like,
surprises me when it happens.
yeah, just the acid and it just
Yeah.
mutating and it just goes on and on
Yeah.
and on and
It's like the watery explosion when he hits the car.
yeah,
It's not
and then,
like bloody. It's like, very, very watery.
yeah.
It's so gross.
And I mean, the guy, I mean, they set him up to be, pretty despicable,
Yeah.
but still, it's like,
It's a bad death.
yeah.
Yeah. I do really like the stop motion. I know you mentioned it. There's
Yeah.
something comforting about seeing the Ed 209 kind of stop motion its way into the into the like office, the conference room. I'm like, this is
Yeah.
so comforting. I like seeing stop motion and practical effects.
Yeah.
It's great.
What do you think that comes from? Like, where do you think you first got your kind of nostalgia for that? I mean, I know it's like at the end of the first Terminator.
Yeah.
Like when they're showing the Terminator like crawling or like running after them.
I don't know,
end.
I think even though it does, you can tell it's an effect, I still feel like it looks more real than like effects now.
Yeah.
I don't know where that comes from. I think being a lover of filmmaking and like films in general, I like to see those strings being pulled sometimes.
Yeah.
And you know that it was like a lot of work to get that the right ratio and to make it move. And,
Looking well enough.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's like that. It's like King Kong,
Yeah,
It's like where
exactly. Yeah.
I don't know if it originates from the King Kong movie, but that was definitely one of the biggest, one of the first big hits with like a bunch of effects like that.
Yeah, exactly. And you get the Ray Harryhausen, like stop motion skeletons and stuff that look really cool.
Yeah.
And it just feels like cinema.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
I think the weird feeling I have when I'm watching RoboCop is because there's so many different things that I have seen before put into one movie.
Yeah.
In a way that I've never seen before, if that makes sense. Because, like, the part of the movie makes me feel like I'm watching, like, what was that movie? Like, I think it was, like, Short Circuit or something.
Mm-hmm.
The Spielberg, like, TV movies about, like, the friendly robot.
Yeah.
I think that's what it's called. But then, like, the stop motion and stuff reminds me of... Like, obviously, it's tied to older, very old cinema, like King Kong. And then the practical effects remind me of, Star Wars or, any great 80s and 90s movie. And then it's just super violent, which I think just adds, like, I just am not used to seeing that in a movie like this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think the first bit of like ultra violence is when they're having the meeting and they're demonstrating that robot.
Yeah.
Not the RoboCop, but the other robot. And then they get the guy to like hold the gun at him.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, you better drop the gun. And he drops it, and then it's like, comply.
Yeah.
And then it just blows him to bits.
I know, yeah.
It's just like, what the heck? Like, it's just so unexpected.
Yeah.
Especially watching it for the first time is like, holy, like, what am I watching?
Yeah. It just said, I think that it's good because it sets the tone because they kind of like laugh it off a little bit.
Yeah.
So as the audience, you kind of know that the violence is not really to be taken that seriously.
Yeah.
Like someone's died, but they're like, there's still a few bugs to work out.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I'm sure the guy that comes up with RoboCop in the lift is like, that's corporate America or whatever. Like, kind of like that's what you get.
Yeah. Yeah, and they just immediately start working out what they're going to do next.
Yeah. Yeah, here's my opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when you get Murphy kind of being blown to bits before he becomes RoboCop, even that's ridiculous. You know, the hand gets blown off and then his arm,
Yeah.
and they unload, you know, like a whole magazine into him, and then they're like, this guy's still alive.
Yeah. Yeah. Just rolling around like,
Yeah.
and then they finally shoot him in the head.
Yeah. And thus, RoboCop is born.
Yes.
The brilliant diarrhea-eating RoboCop.
Yeah, that's a great way to describe it.
Yeah.
Do they even show him eating in the movie?
I don't think they do at all. I think it's
They
just
just
that
talk
one
about
scene where Johnson, I think, is like, he's just like, this is like baby food. This is really good.
Yeah.
Did you like the design of RoboCop?
Yeah. I mean, I did, but it also felt, it was like the whole time I was like, how come nobody's shooting him in the mouth?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I guess at one point he finally, like when all the cops are shooting at him, he does like cover his mouth or whatever.
Yeah.
With his arm. So it's like, okay, that makes sense a little bit.
Yeah.
But I guess it's all just metal behind his mouth anyway.
Yeah.
Because
It's just like his face, isn't it?
Yeah, they
some
just
kind
like
of
stretch his face over. I guess because like when
Yeah.
he takes the mask off, which was also like, I did not expect that to happen. Yeah, it just looks like his face is stretched over a
just a
piece of metal.
Yeah, exactly. I love that effect. I can't see I can't see the joints. You know, when you can see it like being like it's all strapped back. I can't see how they did that.
Yeah.
It looks great. I mean, RoboCop as a whole looks awesome.
Yeah.
You know, he's a really cool design and character, and you know, he has some great catchphrases. I like it when he's in the convenience store and he pretty much destroys it and he's like, thanks for your cooperation.
Yeah. His movements too.
Yeah.
Like the way that he moves is so robotic. Like it's over the top robotic because it's like, I mean, Iron Man is basically like RoboCop,
Yes.
you know?
Yes.
But he doesn't move like that.
The thing that struck me this time, and I know that it's maybe because we've just finished watching an Arnold film, but do you think there's a hint of like parody of the Terminator in this? Because his voice completely changes to a very Arnold kind of, you know, thank you for your cooperation. I know it's supposed to be a robot voice, but to me, I'm just like, it feels like Arnold as the Terminator.
Maybe. I mean, it's also, but I guess it could be a parody if they're doing it over the top, but that's what I was going to say is it's kind of over the top.
Yeah.
But you believe it. I mean, he's full on robot.
Yeah. Because also in a way, it's kind of like T2 before T2.
Yeah.
It's like, what if the cyborg was on our side?
Right, yeah.
You know, so it's kind of that. I don't know. Again, I think it's just because we watched the Arnold film recently, but I was like, I feel like this. It sounds like Arnold to me now.
Yeah.
You know, all his lines and stuff. And then somehow when he takes the top half of his helmet off, he's more human. He's not as robotic, you know, and he's like, where did my family go? He seems more human. I don't know. But him as a robot is very Arnold to me.
Well, I mean, I'm sure that it had to be influenced in some ways, even if it was just like the filmmakers loved the Terminator and
maybe I mean, it was a huge hit, right? It came out, you know, probably while this was being written and everything. So there's got to be some influence there.
Yeah, for sure. I have not seen any of the sequels.
Neither have I, and I don't think you want to. I think they're either critically panned or straight to video. I believe RoboCop 3 was straight to video.
Oh, wow. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Nancy Allen, who plays Officer Lewis, is on all 3. But I think Peter Weller's only in the first 2, and then he drops out as well.
Oh, okay.
So,
I assume he finds his family in the second one or something.
I mean,
Because that's where I kept expecting it
yeah,
to go.
yeah. Those scenes are really cheesy.
Where he finds
Yeah.
where he's going back to the house.
Yeah, like, hey, I love you.
Yeah. Yeah, the wife was a little
Yeah.
a little too perfect.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the perfect like
I know.
male fantasy, I guess.
Yeah,
Dream wife.
for the late 80s.
She's just always at home, always, ready for bed.
Yeah, looking after the kid 24/7.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think the second one may be worth seeking out, because I know that we kind of talked about it off air, but it's directed by Irvin Kershner, who obviously made one of the greatest sequels of all time.
Yeah.
Empire
Strikes Back.
So
RoboCop is RoboCop Strikes Back.
yeah, he's back. And the poster's really cool. It's like him coming out of like a solid bit of concrete.
Nice.
But he's just obviously punched his way through. So
yeah.
maybe I'll have to try and seek it out.
Well, I would just be curious to see like how much more they lean into those like effects and the gore and the
Yeah, is it going to be like a very like serious sequel that tries to do something a little bit different, or is it going to be more of the first one but just not on the same level?
Right.
There's only one way to find out, Brandon.
I know. But somebody we haven't talked about yet is Kurtwood Smith.
Yeah.
He
really wants to put a foot in the ass of RoboCop.
It was so great to see him in this.
I
don't think I've seen him in much other than that 70s show.
Yeah.
And he is younger in this, but he kind of looks just the same.
Exactly, yeah, he's just the same. Just as angry.
Yeah.
But
yeah, but he, such a menacing and authoritative villain.
Yeah. I feel like there's a point of the 80s where the villains were just like suburban dads that wore trench coats. He's very kind of unassuming. He's not like in Rocky IV, Drago. He's not like this big man mountain. He's just like a regular guy that loves guns and blowing up stuff.
Yeah.
And his team of like, I don't know, other villains.
Henchmen.
Henchmen really remind me of like the Die Hard team. In that they just each get like a really nice death throughout the film. Which is cool. It's satisfying.
Yeah.
I like the guy that's like, mind if I zip this up?
Oh yeah, like whenever that's how he gets her to.
Yeah, she looks.
It's like such a long moment, and then she looks, and he's like, "Poosh!" That's how he knocks her out. Takes her out.
It's the stream of pee that stops when she's like, "Freeze!" It's just like, it's done.
His bladder shrunk. Yeah, and she gets like all shot at the end, so I wonder if she's a robot in the second one.
Yeah.
That's what I would have done.
Yeah. RoboCop 2, Lewis is in it on it too. I think I don't know. I like that his, I don't want to say sidekick, but I like that the person he's with that believes him is a woman and not a romantic interest. That's really interesting that like there's even one point where she like tries to console him as RoboCop and he's like, "Don't touch me."
Yeah.
Which is kind of like cool. But also I don't think that she's written to the standards that we would kind of expect now. Like that scene we were just talking about. She like, she looks. He's like, "I'm going to do the driving." When they get into the car, even though she's obviously like, knows the city a lot better. There's a few instances where I was like, ugh, 80s treatment of women. Alert. Here we go.
Yeah, but then, like you said, she's not. She's not. She's never like a romantic interest.
No, exactly.
You know, she's just a cop.
Yeah, and I do wonder if they set her up to feel more like a male, because at the beginning when she's kind of fighting that inmate, and then she kind of takes her helmet off and he kind of freezes as if to give you time to be like, oh, that's a woman, you know.
Yeah.
Which now you're just like, okay.
Yeah.
But it is cool. It could have easily have been a man, but I don't know where any other women would have shown up in this film if not.
Yeah, and also, I mean, it does feel, I don't know, like she feels more real. Like she feels more like a real cop than I think I've seen in recent movies.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, I don't know, we're getting to this weird thing now where like the women have to be models, but also they have to be action heroes.
Yeah.
And it's like, no.
Yeah, she doesn't do a lot of kind of like, you know, I mean, there's the fight at the beginning, but it's a bit more of a scuffle. It's not like a, you know, karate in the precinct. And then later on, it's mostly gun use. You know, it's kind of, she's just a good shot. So, yeah, there isn't that kind of blend of the two.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's cool, though.
Yeah. She kicks butt.
Yeah, she does. You know, kicks more butt. RoboCop. He's got some of the best, like, he just destroys everything.
Yeah. Everything
in his sight. I really like the, when that woman's kind of being attacked and he shoots the guy through, like, her skirt.
Oh, yeah.
That's really cool.
It shoots him in the crotch through her dress.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool. And then he's just so violent.
I know.
It's not even like enough to arrest someone. It's like, I'm going to throw you through everything that's nearby until you submit.
I did only watch it once, so I'm trying to recall all the great scenes. But there were a lot of them. Because I forgot about him shooting through the dress. There's so many like quick things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like the whole thing is just very entertaining.
It is,
scene by scene.
It's kind of what we were talking about last week. It's such a refreshing take to watch something that's, you know, there's social commentary in there, like a lot of social commentary, but it's not.
Yeah.
I don't know. It never feels like it's taken away from the entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just kind of in the background to give you a sense of what this movie's trying to say.
Yeah.
It's just so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd buy that for $1.
I like the line when Kurtwood Smith is he's going over to the guy that created RoboCop, whatever that guy's name is.
Mm-hmm.
Like shoots him in the legs or whatever, and then he there's like the two ladies in there, and he's just like, bitches leave.
Yeah.
Just to the point.
Yeah.
And then at the end, when RoboCop like makes his way back into the corporate offices, which honestly, the corporate offices remind me of Barbie a little bit.
Yeah.
Just all male.
Yeah.
Ridiculous lines. Trying to take over.
Mm-hmm.
At the end when the guy takes him hostage, and then he's like, "You're fired," and he's like, "Thank you."
Yeah.
So he has to wait till he's fired before he can kill the guy.
Because that's the secret fourth objective or directive. And I love him falling out the window because it's obviously a puppet and the arms are too long.
Yeah, I was like, this looks so weird.
I know. But then it's followed up, but it's like it's like the double tap of we get that, which is funny, just in view, and then we get Johnson doing like the big smile and the thumbs up to RoboCop.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, You killed someone. Good job. You killed a co-worker. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Which I love. I think I'm going to use that gif all the time now.
And like, when is this set? It just says distant
in the future. Yeah.
The future.
Yeah. Did you see? I mean, it's supposed to be in Detroit, but did you see where they filmed it? Did you notice anything in the background?
I don't think I noticed.
It is shot in and around Dallas. You can see the Reunion Tower when they're doing the car chase at the beginning.
Wow.
So all that stuff is like down on like a Dallas freeway somewhere.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I think I knew that at one point and just forgot.
Yeah, because at the beginning it opens with like a shot of Detroit, but I'm pretty sure that's just like a stock footage image. I don't think they ever did any shooting around there.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah, Dallas of the future today.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's a reason to rewatch it again.
Yeah. Have you ever seen any other films by Paul Verhoeven?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Let me have a look-see. Have you?
Yes, he did Basic Instinct.
Okay.
Which I've seen. And then 2 years ago he did Benedetta, which I watched. Which I think I was like, it was okay. But he also did like Total Recall, Starship Troopers, Showgirls. So he's got, big in the 90s.
Yeah. I actually have not seen anything else he's made.
No.
Of course, Starship Troopers, I feel like is pretty famous. Have not seen it. Showgirls, have not seen it. Basic Instinct, have not seen it.
Yeah.
Haven't seen Total Recall.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, someone interesting, I think, to kind of go through the filmography.
Yeah. Especially like just clicking on Total Recall, like just another, like, just seeing like some clips here, another it's such that was 1990, such an interesting time for like big budget action sci-fi movies.
Yeah.
Because the effects are so dated, but in a great way.
Yeah.
Everything looks real. Everything is like movie magic still.
Yeah. I think when you were talking earlier and you asked about like my aversion to kind of like new CGI, really, I think I've just realized where it kind of stems from, and I think it's Star Wars and it's Yoda being replaced by a CGI thing. I mean, I know that for the second one they had to do it because he does a lot of lightsaber action and fights a lot. That's hard to do while you've got a hand up your butt. But I
mean, they could have done. Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Here, like when that movie came out.
Yeah.
That was around the same. That was just a little while. Well, actually, a little bit before, because I think that came out summer 2002.
Yeah.
We didn't see Gollum until December of that year.
Mm-hmm.
And you just think about, like, that's basically the same effect.
Yeah.
Except I guess I don't know if they did stop motion with Yoda. And Gollum was like instant classic, like fans loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but with Star Wars, it's like, I mean, they could have found another way to do it. It's just Lucas wanted to do CGI.
Yeah. And then he was replaced. Even the puppet Yoda in the Phantom Menace was replaced for later editions.
But to be fair, that puppet Yoda looked terrible.
It didn't look good. No. I just wanted him to look like, Dagobah Yoda forever.
I know.
That was my favorite. Just when he eats that little sausage thing.
Yeah.
It's like one of my favorite clips of all time. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they could have done like stop motion.
Yeah.
Something. But that might have been weird.
Yeah.
It
probably would have been. Yeah, it would have been looked a little weird. Especially, I mean, Lucas has always been about pushing the like the what's possible forward, right? Like Industrial
Yeah.
Light and Magic is about kind of keep reaching and reaching and reaching. So stop motion by the noughties probably feels ancient to him.
Yeah. I mean,
it's all CGI.
it would be interesting to see someone like redo some of those prequels.
Yeah.
Like not like reshoot them, but like, I don't know, redo the effects.
Yeah.
Make them better.
Mm-hmm.
Update them. I mean, he did that with his other ones.
He did. Oh, yeah. He loves to tinker.
But I doubt they will do
no.
that because of all the backlash.
Disney would not allow it, I don't think.
Yeah.
They barely let anyone see their films, let alone tinker with them. So
yeah.
The last thing that I kind of want to talk about is a pretty, meaty subject at the moment is the combination of like human and machine. There's a lot going on with the writers' strike and the Screen Actors Guild about, AI and kind of coming into jobs and stuff. But I feel like as like creatives in cinema, it's always been pushed against. Terminator was kind of like, robots are going to kill us. This is a little bit better, but we still have like you can't really control them very well.
Yeah.
Aspect of it. HAL 9000 in 2001. He thinks like a human, has, but doesn't have emotions, and he ends up, trying to kill everybody. I mean,
yeah.
Do you think that it's just because as filmmakers, people are more creative, so it's more of a personal voice, and AI is very, I don't know, like not individual. It's kind of, a culmination of everything it's learned. Do you think that's why we're kind of, as creative,
pushing against it?
Yeah, like it's ingrained in us to kind of be wary of anything new.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I think that
it's a big question to just be like.
Yeah, I mean, I've been thinking about some of this stuff lately with all the AI and the writer strike, and there's somebody I follow, another Zach suggestion, Michael Jamin Writer is his Instagram. He's a screenwriter in Hollywood. He's been posting a lot of videos about the strike and stuff, and educating people on what's going on. But a lot of what he's been saying is that, like, with AI, it's all just plagiarism.
Yeah.
And you're not going to have, AI can do cool things and it can assist you with things, but like, you're never going to have the human element.
No.
Which is what people connect to.
Yeah.
And why people connect to these stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, I'm starting to get like a little, it's like when you think about something so much, you finally get to a point where you're like, I don't freaking know.
Yeah.
But like, I do feel, I mean, it's definitely not going anywhere. It's just going to become more of an assistance to people, I think.
Yeah.
And, I think when people know that something is AI, it's just not going to be the same.
Yeah.
It's just never going to be the same. Like, even if you're, even if you have a full-on robot serving you coffee at Starbucks, that, looks emo and like sounds emo and acts like, your regular emo barista. Like, just like, if you know that it's not human, like, you're never going to interact with it the same that you would with knowing it's a human.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's just, there's going to be a disconnection. You're not going to be making a connection with anyone.
No.
I think it's likely that it's going to make more sense to like use AI to assist us.
Yeah.
Or to add it to our human features in some way, like RoboCop does.
Yeah.
You know, like, not maybe to the degree that, we change our entire bodies into a machine.
Yeah.
But our phones are kind of an extension of our bodies now for the majority of the human race. Like, we don't go anywhere without it.
Yeah.
And we use it for everything.
We do. Yeah.
It's maybe not physically attached to us, but it kind of is.
Yeah.
We take it everywhere. And I mean, so tech, I think, is only going to get better in terms of like the ways that we interact with it, to the point where maybe it's easier to, I don't know. I feel like there's going to be a point where, like, because we just Google things all the time, there's going to be a point where we can get information to us much quicker.
Yeah. My perfect use of AI, and I've been thinking about this a lot, is literally kind of what's already out there, but improved. Like, hey, I really like this film. I want you to suggest a film that is similar in like theme.
Yeah.
And not just have the same actor in it. Because when you look that kind of stuff up, it's like, you like Last Action Hero? Why don't you try The Last Stand? Because it's got Arnold Schwarzenegger in it. And you're like, that isn't a good recommendation at all.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, this has got like a similar feeling to this one, or something like that. Or I'm really in the mood to discover more 70s psychedelic rock. And it's like, okay, here's, 4 albums that you should listen to. Or whatever. That kind of thing where it's more, it takes in the data that it's got and produces you recommendations or things that you should check out yourself. Not, I'm going to write a screenplay that's a rom-com.
Yeah. Well, Netflix did something like that like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that.
Vaguely.
It wasn't there for very long.
I don't trust Netflix recommendations at all.
Yeah, no. But like, I wish they had kept it around and let it get better.
Yeah.
Because it was like, what are you in the mood for?
Yeah.
It was literally like a robot voice that would like ask you what you wanted to watch, and then it would suggest things.
Yeah.
It was kind of fun.
You've got a 95% match with the Gruffalo. I'm like, what? Why? I've never watched any like animated films on this at all.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
it knows what you're missing out on.
Apparently. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. But I'm still protective of it.
Yeah. What was that thing I sent you and Zach? I think I sent y'all like I told Chat GPT to like tell me that the greatest films ever made. And then I was like, now make them into one movie.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like 2001 was in there.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was now. It was really funny. Maybe we should read that on our 100th episode.
Yeah. Do a table read of the greatest film ever made. I do feel like it would be maybe disrespectful to the people that are striking, so that this doesn't happen for us to do a table read of an AI written script.
That's very true.
But I forgot to mention as well, like even Metropolis from like over 100 years ago was telling us, or just under 100 years ago, was telling us, hey, robots are bad.
Yeah.
They have a mind of their own, don't trust them.
Yeah.
We've been warned, man. Like, we've been warned. We just got to hope it goes RoboCop way, like you said, and not any other way.
Yeah, whenever we infuse a human mind with the AI mind, it's got to be a good cop.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe not a cop.
Yeah, just a good guy. Don't give him a gun.
Yeah.
Just, let him sit in a room, smiling and drinking tea. Just a good guy for once.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
We're gonna see some interesting things happen.
We definitely are. Yeah.
In our life.
Yeah. And I hope that RoboCop was one of those interesting things that you saw.
It was.
Yeah. I think that it's also a film that the more you can quote it, the better it gets. Like this time, because I've seen it quite a few times this time, I was really like getting into the one-liners and the and the ridiculousness of it all. So it just kind of gets better and better.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm sure I'm gonna watch this a few more times.
Yeah, it's a really good. I know that you're kind of you like sharing films, it's a really good film to watch with an audience because it's so ridiculous and over the top and like entertaining.
Yeah, exactly.
It would go, if you went to one of the Alamo Drafthouse like Hopped Up Cinema where you could drink and watch this, that would be spot on.
A good time.
That'd be the way to do it. Yeah. Do you want to guess what we rated it on Letterboxd?
Let's do it.
Cool.
I saw your previous rating.
Yeah.
I think it went up a little bit, so I'm going to say 4.5.
I'm going to say you rated it 4.
Correct.
Perfect. You are also correct. Yeah, it did go up
Nice.
by half a star. Yeah, it's so much fun. So much fun.
Yeah, it is a really
Yeah.
great time.
And it's included in the 1001 films you must see before you die, which I wholeheartedly agree with.
Yeah.
I think, you should watch this.
You heard it, folks.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it and you've listened to us talk about it, sorry about the spoilers, but you should definitely go and watch it. It's a blast. It's great. Talking of having a blast, what are we going to be watching next week, Brandon?
Next week, Lewis, is going to be our 95th episode.
Oh, boy.
Is it 95th or is it 94th?
94th. Nearly at 95.
Is it really?
Yeah. Because October has 5 weeks. So the whole of October is going to be like the countdown to 100.
How did I get this wrong?
Maybe
Because I
I
was
got it. Did I
the
get it
reason I picked this film, I was like, yeah, I guess I did get it wrong. I was like, oh, it's gonna be episode 95. I'll pick a movie from 1995. But now I can't because it's episode 94. Now I can still pick this movie. I think I was just looking at movies from 95.
Yeah.
And which ones I hadn't seen.
Mm-hmm.
So for episode 94, we're watching a movie from 1995. It was probably shot in 94.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you'll have to look at like the release date. If it's January, man, it's close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But neither one of us have seen this film, I think. It's 12 Monkeys.
Oh, awesome. Okay, cool.
Which you haven't seen, right?
I have not seen, no.
It just looks kind of interesting. I don't know anything about this movie. It's got Bruce Willis and Brad Pitt, I think.
Yeah.
So, which is a combination I don't think I've seen.
No. Not at all. But I'm not laughing at that. I'm laughing because I just looked up when it was released, and theatrically it was 29th of December 1995. So we could not get any further away from 1994 in that year. Yeah.
It's
it's
going
to
be
good.
what it is.
Yeah.
Math is hard.
In an alternative universe, we may have been talking about let me have a look at 1994. The Mask next week. So,
Saved you guys.
Yeah. Well, perfect. That's going to be next week. I'm looking forward to watching that and talking about it. If you've seen the film that we're going to be talking about next week, or indeed RoboCop, please, let us know what you think. Write in, email, whatever. We'd love to start a conversation and kind of hear your thoughts as well. If you want to do so, you can find the show on Twitter and Instagram at Film Church Radio. And you can also follow us individually on Letterboxd. Brandon is at Salmon Scope, and I am at Walker Lewis 3007. You can see what I've been watching, and we can see what you've been watching too. I want to see everybody's Letterboxd accounts. We also have all of our back episodes streaming, so you can go and check them out. It would help us out, and we'd love to, we'd love to listen. So please go ahead and do that. Thank you so much for being here, though, and listening to us talk about RoboCop. RoboCop's fun. You should go and watch it. Probably going to go watch it again right now. But we'll see you next Sunday for more Film Church. And the only thing left to say is... Robo! Excuse me, Robo. Any special message for all the kids watching at home?
Stay out of trouble.
Amen.
Amen. I think it is episode 95. Yeah, because we have Last Action Hero is going to be 93. I was like, there's something. It all worked out. I'll just leave this part in. All right, bye.